All right. My name is Michael Rapaport, and you are now rocking with the best. This is the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, coming live from the Gloom Tomb Studio. I'm in here with co-host G Moody.
Yep.
Last name rhymes with duty.
Always.
Can't change that.
Hell nah.
Weather changes, seasons change, but the man's name is Moody, and the man's name rhymes with duty. That's a fact. Can't get around it.
That's true.
How's everything? How's it hanging, Mr. Moody?
Oh, everything is good, man. It's been really cold.
Yeah.
So just been kind of in and out doing stuff and trying to
cold
deal with
in
the
New
cold.
York?
Oh man. When it's 25 and it's 28, people in New York are like, "Oh, it's pretty good today," because it's been 10, it's been 9. So 25 feels like 70.
You start thinking that, like, if it's not freezing cold, like, shit is sweet. Shit ain't sweet.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
called getting broken. You get broken.
Yeah. It's rough.
All right, if you never listened to the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast before, we are the only podcast that prides itself, that we actually pride ourselves on not fact-checking anything. Not a goddamn thing. So that means whatever we say, we stand by 150%, and we let the chips fall where they may. So the other day, I saw something on Twitter. It was the headline thing on Twitter about lobsters, how they were banning lobsters from being boiled in Switzerland. Apparently, they have banned lobsters from being boiled in certain parts of Italy. Little holes in the wall. And I took offense to this. And I want to hear your 2 cents, but the story hasn't ended there. So I went on one of my infamous, and let me tell you something. The whole rant phenomenon of me doing my rants, this was not planned or thought out. My rants are never planned or thought out. They are gut reactions to things. Okay, I've been talking shit. Okay? Since I came out of my mom's vagina, look it up. If you ask my mom, say, he has not stopped talking since he fucking could start. I mean, Moody, we met when I was 12.
Yeah.
Would you call me meek or shy when we were 12?
A fucking nut job would be a better fucking term.
Okay, thank you. And I mean, I've never been shy. I've never had particularly great manners. In 1984, I was in Howard Projects, 1560 East New York Avenue, apartment 4D. Mm-hmm. Mr. Moody's apartment.
My residence at the time.
Your mother, your father were there. I had been fed by Miss Moody.
Yeah.
Some greens, some beans, and some chitlins. I woke up around 10:30. I wanted to eat more. 11:30. Now we're kids, so 11:30 is like late. It's dark. I'm in somebody else's house. I went into the kitchen. I wanted more greens, beans, and chitlins. I go into the kitchen and I stick my hand in the chitlin pot, and lo and behold, Miss Moody comes in and says, "What are you doing? If you want some food, just let me know."
Right.
I'm humiliated. I'm embarrassed. But the fact of the matter is that boundaries have never been my strong suit. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say, I have had chitlins and macaroni and cheese, many different variations. To this day, the chitlins and macaroni and cheese that I ate, cooked by your mom, they're unbeatable.
Of course.
Unfadeable, so please don't try to fade me. But the point is, boundaries, what was I starting on? Oh, the lobsters?
The lobsters.
Boom. So the Twitter rant. So I went on Twitter because I was offended. I'm like, how does humane ways of killing lobsters become a thing? How is that a fucking thing? How is this an issue? And then they're like, well, if you're going to kill the lobster to eat it, hit it over the fucking head with a hammer. See, what if you hit the hammer and you miss? And then you just got him, he's wheezy and wobbly and all that shit. And then you got to bang him the fuck over the head again. And then you might mutilate the actual lobster. Yo, I paid my money to eat the lobster. I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do with the lobster. That's not the point. That's not the point. The point is I put this rant on social media. Miles, please play the clip. Oh, what the fuck is going on in the world? There are people that are calling for to ban boiling lobsters because when you boil lobsters to cook, they feel pain. You cocksuckers, you ain't taking away my lobster dinner. You ain't taking away my lobster tails. You ain't taking away my lobster bisque. You ain't taking away my lobster claws. I'm eating my fucking lobsters, and if I gotta boil them, I'm fucking boiling them. The supposed impartial, mind-your-own-business country of Switzerland has banned cooking lobsters by boiling them. Okay, what the fuck are you supposed to do? You eat them when they die of old age? Fucking Switzerland. You got great fucking watches and great chocolate, okay? But mind your fucking business, okay? That's the skinny genification of cooking. You don't like it? Pick up a couple of leaves and some lettuce and eat that for dinner. I'm boiling my fucking lobster. Okay? And for the most part, most people, they get it. Some people said, oh, well, would you kill a baby seal? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, they're giving me all these different scenarios. Would you club a baby seal over the head with a hammer? Dude, what the fuck is you saying?
Yeah.
So this website, which I'm sure is a great a website, mercyforanimals.org, the actor, superhero, my man Chris Pratt, they wrote an article when famous people are cruel to animals. And some fucking guy named Ari Solomon said, this is an open letter to Chris Pratt and Michael Rapaport. Because Chris Pratt had posted all this meat. He was, I guess, in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and he posted all this meat, these steaks, and he said, I guess they caught an animal and they killed it, whatever, and they butchered it, and they're going to eat the entire thing top to bottom, and he posted it.
Word.
And this guy's, he's it's a lamb. This guy was offended about Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is a big superstar. He's in all the superhero movies. I fuck with Chris Pratt. He's a funny guy, too. You describe the life of a lamb who was nuzzled, pet, and loved. And then they just go on to try to shame Chris Pratt.
Hey, Chris, show him a picture of the lamb sizzling on the grill. That's what you should do to show how much you don't give a fuck about what you say. I'm feeding my family. We eating. We're in the greatest country in the world. Shut the fuck up, yo. Shut up.
And then they came at me. Now, Chris Pratt's not going to respond because Chris Pratt is a big movie star. He's not like me. They came at me and they said, what did he say about me? Oh, Michael, you posted a rant on Facebook. You're livid because Switzerland banned boiling lobsters alive. I honestly can't understand why this would upset anyone. It's the kind, compassionate, and totally rational thing to do. And you don't even live in Switzerland. Yo, Ari, what the fuck is you talking about?
Yo, kill that noise, dude. Nobody cares about all that. Let me answer. Can I answer a little bit for it, Rap?
Please, because you cooked lobster for me one time, and we boiled the motherfuckers right in the New York City gloom tomb.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Let me sum it up for this guy. A lobster and a human being are part of nature. And the human being is at the top of the food chain, meaning he can eat or she can eat whatever the fuck she want. So a lobster will be boiled. A lobster will be consumed, whether you like it or not. So you need to stop wasting your time on nonsense. Because, Rap, you boil the lobster for 90 seconds, and then you take it out, and you got the succulent lobster tail. dipped in clarified butter. What is this guy talking about?
I tell him to shut his fucking pie hole. That's what I do. I tell him to shut his fucking pie hole. Now, I'm telling him to shut his fucking pie hole while I'm looking at my dog, Wheezy, who was rescued from a pound in New Orleans, hence the name Wheezy, Louisiana.
Right.
Now, I'm not Mr. Dogs. I'm not Mr. Animals, but I privately make my donations, okay?
Right.
Privately. You don't see me, oh, I donated this, I donated that, patting myself on the back. I make my donations privately.
Right.
Now, maybe I'm going to look up this website called Mercy for Animals, and I'm going to see if they're legit, because they might not even be legit. Too legit to quit. Hey. Maybe I'll make a donation to them. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't.
See what they're about.
But I can make the donation and still tell you, with my rescue dog looking me in the face, to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Ari, whatever your name is.
Ari. Ari Solomon. I want to see what kind of dog you got. Because my dog was rescued. My dog literally thinks he's my freaking child. I took this dog out of the pound. He was the last of the fucking litter. He slept in my bed, sight unseen, the first night. He didn't have to piss. He didn't have to shit. He was so happy that he was rescued. My dog has social anxiety because he loves me so much. I love the dog so much. The dog, Wheezy, literally brings smiles to people's face. I talk to this dog in the morning when I'm walking Wheezy, and he's so excited to be out, whether we're at Runyon Canyon, whether we're just doing a normal walk. Me and this dog have a bond. I rescued this fucking dog, as I've rescued all my other dogs. I took my dog Stanley, may he rest in peace, off the streets of LA. So Ari, you can kiss my fucking ass.
Yeah.
You know, they tell you I have plants in my home. You know, they say that scientifically it's proven that you should talk to your plants. Plants respond to this. I don't know how, but apparently it's proven. Okay, so certain plants respond to being talked to. They respond to sunlight. They're living, breathing organisms. So lettuce is a form of plant. A cucumber is a vegetable. Carrots and all that. What the fuck are we going to eat, man? What do you want us to eat, Ari?
Yeah.
Just because you're saying, oh, the lobster, there's variations of it. Yo, you think when the motherfuckers were living in the caves, they were worrying about the motherfucking lamb's feelings?
Yeah.
They're trying to eat, Duke. I'm not a vegetarian. You want a vegetarian? You call my man Toby Morse up. He's with that shit.
Why are they so concerned with what other folks eat?
Yo, eat your soy shit. These people like to eat soy turkey, soy steaks, soy hot dogs. They don't know what the fucking the effects of the soy is.
Right. They're so concerned with what other people are eating. But
Yo,
like
let me eat my
Jay-Z
motherfucking
said,
steak, Duke.
but like Jay-Z said, what you eat don't make me shit. So shut the fuck up, yo.
Quote the great Jay-Z. And the picture they used of my man Chris Pratt got him looking all fucked up. This is like a handsome movie star. They got him looking fucked up in the picture. Show my man looking handsome and smiling and shit. They used a picture of him like he's all perplexed. He not perplexed. He ate the lamb. He's eating good. And to quote Fusser,
my bad, Fuss.
to quote Fusser, our friend Fusser, he said one of the great quotes, and I think this is the second time we're quoting Fusser on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast.
Yes.
At his job, he said one of the more shocking things. Me and Gerald have been quoting this gentleman for it's almost 30 years. It's about 1986, 1987. Fusser worked at a construction site. And one day after his work, he came back, he was playing basketball, and he said, could you walk us through what he said? Because he had got home from work, and he said, please walk us through the quote, Gerald.
Yeah, he said, I don't, when I go in the bathroom at the construction site, I don't flush the toilet, son.
And then somebody said, why, Fusser?
I want to show them white motherfuckers I eat good.
That's a G-Moody beat right there. We don't do drum rolls. We don't do laugh tracks. We just put on a G-Moody beat. When we do something funny or classic or one of a kind, we just put on a G Moody beat.
For sure.
I want to acknowledge there's like a syndrome going on.
Oh.
There's people that are eating Tide detergent pods. Now, you may or may not know this about me, but I pride myself on being someone who does his own laundry and is pretty good at doing his own laundry. I love Tide detergent pods, but it just takes a couple of fuckheads on the internet to ruin it for everybody. They're going to wind up taking these Tide laundry detergent pods off the market if you little dumb fucks keep eating them. People are eating these Tide laundry detergent pods and videotaping themselves to show the results. I'm going to tell you what the fuck's going to happen, asshole. You don't need to videotape it. You don't fucking kill yourself. You dumb cocksucker. Go get a fucking girlfriend. Try and get a fucking hand job in the stairway at your fucking school. Go play some fucking pinball. You laundry detergent eating cocksucker. You don't like fucking sports. You like to eat laundry detergent. You dumb motherfucker. You're that fucking bored, huh? You're that fucking bored. You got nothing to do, huh? You got no fucking activities. You don't have a fucking hobby. Go take the fucking trash out for your parents, you spoiled bastard, you. Go play a fucking video game. You Clorox pellet eating fucking burnout. Danny Aiello?
Oh, Aiello. Finally, he's back.
You know, I know fans would like to hear me Aiello all day, every day. And if I could yell and scream like that all day, every day without damaging my... Remember the summertime, guys?
Yeah, you was fucked up for like 4 episodes.
Remember the summertime. Miles, matter of fact, I hate to make you dig into the crates, but you're digging into greatness. Pull a clip from one of the episodes where I was really fucked up. Just a minute-long clip. O.J. Simpson is paroled. He's going to be let out of jail October 1st. I believe he'll probably be let out of jail a little bit before that. Where do we start with motherfucking O.J.? If I could scream and yell and Aiello people all the time, I would. But you can't do it.
Yeah.
You just can't. I can't fucking do it. I can't fucking sleep. I can't fucking wake up screaming and fucking yelling. It's just not enough for you cocksuckers. I had these people on Twitter. Why don't you Aiello anymore? You cocksucker!
Yeah, get him.
You Twitter happy motherfucker!
Yo.
I can't fucking talk because of you cocksuckers!
Oh my God.
Miles, let me get some funk. Take a break, and me and G Moody will be right back after this little funk break. Let me hear something. Listen, you want to have a good time? You got to have a good suit. Every man looks better in a suit. Every man looks even better in a custom suit. Indochino is the largest custom apparel company in the world. I love the wide selection of high-quality fabrics and the option to personalize all the details, including the lapel, the jacket lining, the monogram, and so much more. Here's how it works. You pick a fabric, choose your customizations, submit your measurements, place your order, and wait for your custom suit to arrive in 3 weeks or less. Listen to me. This week, right now, my listeners can get any premium Indochino suit for just $359 at Indochino.com, Indochino.com, and use the promo code Rapaport at checkout. That's over 50% off the regular price for a premium made-to-measure custom suit. You want to have a good time, you got to have a fantastic custom-made suit. All right, I told you it was going to be funky. That's nice right there. That's a nice beat right there. What else is going on, Moody? NBA. They announced the NBA All-Stars. No big surprises. The regular cast of characters. The Western Conference starters are Steph Curry, James Harden, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, and DeMarcus Cousins. No Russell Westbrook.
No.
As a starter.
Oh.
The Eastern Conference starters, LeBron, DeMar DeRozan, Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's pretty good. You never know. When you start to say his name, you never know how it's going to come out. There's all bets are off. But that was pretty good. Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Greek Freak and the Joel Embiid. I don't know what they're doing with the rest of the league and how they're doing it. It's like the players picked them, but it's been done. I'm not sure what's happened. But obviously it's going to be a fun All-Star game. I hope that these guys encourage each other to try to make the game a little bit more competitive from top to bottom and not just, go out there and lollygag around. Yeah. Obviously, it's an All-Star game. It's never going to be like life or death stakes, but, turn it up a little bit.
Last year was the worst I've ever seen.
Weren't you at the game?
Yeah, we was there. It was like, man, that was terrible. People pay their money to come see some fly shit, and these guys are not even playing. It wasn't even like an effort. And it was like, yo, you got to give the fans, their money's worth, and they come to pay. They come to watch you. So it's entertainment. Yeah, it got to be better.
Big thing that's going on in the NBA this season. This is going to be like the storyline because this is the way these things work. These stories, they gain steam and then they just never go away because the media never stops talking about it. The media asks the players about it. The players respond or don't respond. This season, somehow or some way, the refs in the NBA and the players in the NBA hate each other, and this is somehow a story. You're supposed to hate the refs. Players are always supposed to hate the refs. Coaches are going to hate the refs. I say hate. I use air quotes.
Right.
It's church and state. I'm not sure, but there's rules. Players and referees, they can't be friendly, right? They have to sort of stay away from each other. They don't hang out. It's part of the rule of being a professional referee. You know what I mean? Because you can't have any coercing. The term kill the ref, kill the ump. I was going to do a documentary at one time on all the great referees, the great fight referees, Dick Bavetta from the NBA, that famous boxing referee, the famous football, like a documentary, like all the stories, how they became referees and all that stuff. Somehow or another, this year in the NBA, the referees and the NBA players not getting along is like, oh, why is that happening? They're not supposed to. And you know what? I agree. The referees should be a little bit tougher with these players. Tell them to shut the fuck up every now and then. Tell the coaches to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I think that everybody thinks they're liberated and they can talk how they want to talk. Tech the motherfucker up. The refs are the boss. You got to respect the authority. That's just the way it works.
Yeah, you have to. He's controlling the game. He has the power. He could tell him, yo, the foul is the foul. You want to tech, motherfucker?
You want to tech, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Huh? Mike D'Antonio, you're talking shit from the bench because you're talking shit to Blake Griffin and then Blake Griffin's talking shit back to you. How about this, Mike D'Antonio? The next time I see you when I'm refereeing a game with you, why don't you get your mustache back? You look nuts without the mustache, D'Antoni. You haven't been the same since you shaved that fucking mustache.
Yeah.
And you're talking shit? I'll tech you up, asshole.
That's how you got to do it out there.
Like I said this before, the NBA is like turning into a 24-hour reality show. Like there's no break. There's no stopping.
Yep. They got runway. They got the red carpet for what they dress now. They got like a fashion show.
Who's going to wear what?
Yeah.
Ooh, did you like that? Did you not like that? We're talking about the fucking NBA.
Right.
Oh, is his jeans too tight? Oh, that was a cool outfit. Look at his bag.
Right.
Look. This is what they say about an NBA basketball player. Ooh, look at his bag. That's cool. A bag?
Like a fuck, yeah.
A fucking bag?
We coming to watch the game, and you commenting on a bag.
And you know what the thing is, G? We're not coming to watch the game. This is the problem. I was thinking about this. We're not coming to watch the game. We're talking about fashion. We're talking about these Hardy Boys, Scooby-Doo tunnels that the Houston Rockets are trying to sneak into to approach the Los Angeles Clippers and do what? And do what? 3 of you guys are going to go into the Clippers locker room and do what?
And what? Yeah.
And do what? And they got another game coming up. The Clippers and the Rockets have a game, I think, the February 28th or something. And they're like, well, extra security is going to be there. You know what? The players should get together and be like, you know what? That was embarrassing enough. We don't need the extra security. We're going to go out there. We're going to play fucking hard. We're going to play physical. And that's the end of it. Like
it's a game.
It's a fucking game. You're going to go in there. Yo, what'd you say? Say what you were saying to me out on the court.
Yeah.
You guys are come on.
Yo, and it was in the locker room. Ain't shit jump off.
Nothing.
Some people was already in there.
You got in
Nothing
there and
jumped
did
off.
what? Now you got to pay
Nothing.
a fine. It's so stupid. It's embarrassing. Chris Paul, you're better than that. Trevor Ariza and everybody involved, you're better than that. And they all try to shit on my man, Austin Rivers. Like, yo.
Why?
Because these guys are player haters, man. Everybody's fucking player hating on everybody. And like this whole thing with Isaiah Thomas of the Cleveland Cavaliers and him not getting a ceremony in Boston and then the retiring Paul Pierce jersey, and then Jalen Rose called Paul Pierce petty, and then the next day on ESPN, they're having a debate. Do you think what Jalen said?
I know.
This is bad. This is why we're not watching the games.
Yeah, I saw that.
They're turning this shit into Dynasty or some shit, into it, like Days of Our Lives.
You're right.
And I thought about this, G. Like the core reason I thought about LeVar Ball in regards to this, because I was like, it's not LeVar personally. It's like the LeVar Ball shit, the fashion runway, the conversations between Jalen and Paul Pierce, who are friends. Like, they could step on each other's toes. Those guys are friends. They work together. They've played with each other. They're from a fraternity of the NBA, which none of us will understand.
Right.
I don't care what kind of insider you are, and if you didn't play in the NBA, you're not part of it. I don't care what kind of stats you read. I don't care about Wojciechowski and he speaks to this GM. If you didn't play in the NBA, you're not part of that fraternity, period. So there's a certain amount of respect that they are going to have, and like, yo, he could call him petty. They could talk it out. The show goes on. They're not. Paul Pierce isn't complaining about it. Jalen Rose isn't complaining about it. Why are we talking about it like it's some gossip shit? They're turning the NBA into Us Weekly. Like, it's like a magazine. It's like some gossip magazine, like Star Magazine. Like, oh, did you see what Paul Pierce said? Well, Paul Pierce was angry in the green room. Well, I heard that Jalen Rose, it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
The NBA is in such good shape right now. There's so much talent. There's so many great players, aside from the obvious. There's so many great rookies. There's so many great second-year players. There's so many great third-year players. There's so many great stars. And we're sitting here talking about what bag a grown man was spotted wearing for 5 seconds going to work. Or if Jalen Rose offended Paul Pierce. Jalen Rose and Paul Pierce aren't worried about it. Why the fuck are you little gossips worrying about it?
Trying to TMZ this shit, man.
It's ridiculous, man. It's like,
I don't like it.
The marketing and all that stuff. It's important, and the globalization, and it's important. But like at the end of the day, basketball is about 48 minutes on the court with basketball players playing basketball. That's it.
Yeah. Entertainment, athleticism, ill shit.
It's not just about crossovers and missing shots and, what if he made that dunk? He didn't make that dunk. Oh, he would have ended him and all this bullshit.
Yeah. Missed dunks are shown now.
Missed dunks are shown now. It's like you should be publicly shamed and ridiculed if Kyrie Irving shakes you up. Right. This is the NBA. If you're playing legitimate defense, you're going to get shook up by Kyrie Irving, Ricky Rubio, and everybody in between.
Absolutely.
You should be ridiculed and shit. Oh, Joel Embiid, he's 7-3. He dunked on you. You jumped. Of course he dunked on me.
Right. That's part of the game. When we grew up, it's about ball, straight up basketball. We don't give a fuck what Magic had on. I don't give a fuck what Isaiah had on.
We never saw it, and I feel like we should go back to seeing less is more, man. I like to know less, see less. It's out of control, man. And I feel bad for these players. That's why when you hear them talk, they're so calculated and cautious of what they say, because everybody will run away with it and turn it into a whole thing.
Yeah.
And we're not even worried about the guys that are playing, the Donovan Mitchells, all the good rookies, the Victor Oladipos who's just running through the league. If it's not, Steph, Golden State, and some gossip coming from Boston, we're not talking about it. We're not paying attention. All right, listen. Got a fucking banger interview coming up. Jermaine Kearse. You remember the Super Bowl when the Seattle Seahawks should have handed the ball off to Marshawn Lynch? They didn't hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. New England Patriot Malcolm Butler made the interception. The rest is history. Somehow, some fucking way, the New England Patriots stole a Super Bowl from the guts and heart of the Seattle Seahawks. Jermaine Kearse of the New York Jets was on the Seattle Seahawks. He was the guy that made that crazy wobble catch that got them down to the end zone. Jermaine Kearse of the New York Jets, formerly of the Seattle Seahawks, with me on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. Then me and G Moody are going to close this puppy out with some really twisted, sick fucks of the week. Let's get to Jermaine Kearse. Let's go. All right, brand new Buttersoft I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast t-shirts are available at store.barstoolsports.com. You wanted it. I wanted it. We are introducing the very first Stickman Hall of Fame t-shirt. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. It's Buttersoft, the Stickman Hall of Fame t-shirt. Go to store.barstoolsports.com now.
Hello?
Jermaine Kearse, it's Mike Rapaport.
What's up?
Jermaine Kearse is with me on the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast of the New York Jets, Jets, Jets. I'm a big fan for a long time, man. I love the way you play. I appreciate you you coming to rock with me.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man.
So, what was your first season like in New York? Not even on the field. Like, how did you like being a New Yorker?
It was definitely different. Especially for me, this is my first time playing outside of the state of Washington. I grew up in Washington, about an hour and some change south of Seattle, and then I played my college ball, and then the next 5 years with the Seahawks. And so this was really my first time, on the East Coast, really living somewhere outside the state. And at first, the first 2 weeks were kind of a little rough because it was just a lot going on, being traded, and I'm trying to learn a playbook in a couple of days because I'm playing in the first game. And so it was a little difficult at first, but once I kind of got settled in and my family got out here, my wife and my daughter got out here, I was able to kind of adapt a little bit better and get used to it. It's been fun.
Yeah, I mean, how much time did you get to spend in New York? I mean, obviously you're busy. People forget, me being one of them. Like, if you're playing professional football, we sometimes think that it's only, Sunday or Monday that you're actually doing stuff. Yeah, how much time did you get to spend in Manhattan and sort of explore the greatest city in the world? No disrespect to Seattle.
No, it was cool. Me and my wife got to get out to the city a couple of times, do some date nights at some place with some of the teammates and the other wives, and it's for our bye week. Instead of going back home, we just did a little staycation in the city, and which was really cool. It gave us a chance to kind of explore around and be tourists a little bit, and spend that quality time with each other. So it was a great time.
Is your wife a shopper, and did you get hit hard spending the staycation in Manhattan? Because I know for out of towners, especially the shoppers, they get a little crazy.
Nah, it didn't get too crazy. We just explored the city, got to go. We went to a couple museums and Central Park. She wanted to go out there. We rode bikes out there. So yeah, we had a blast that week off, and was just able to kind of experience the the whole city life. I mean, that city never sleeps. You know what the crazy thing about going into Manhattan is the fact that like it is draining. Like
Yeah.
I feel drained every time I went in, and then when I finally got back home, I was like, man, that city just took a lot out of me.
Yeah, I mean, if you're new to it and if you're not used to the environment, it moves so quick, and you could get lost. Going into next season, and and you're more comfortable, and like especially in the springtime and in the summertime. New York City. I would love to. Maybe I'll get to meet you in the city, man. I'll take you for a good
Yeah, for
slice of
sure.
pizza and sort of make it a little smaller because I'm sure it feels big.
Yeah, for sure. That would be cool. Yeah, I learned quick some things when you go in the city, man. I took a Uber. I was trying to go 2 blocks, and it took like 40 minutes. I'm like, man, I'm doing the subway. I'm gonna figure this thing out, because that was the hardest thing for me to figure out, was like the whole subway train situation. 'Cause there ain't really much like that out in Seattle or anything yet. I mean, they're building, but it's nothing like in the city of Manhattan. So trying to figure out how I'm going to get to where, that was a big adjustment. But I mean, once you eventually get it, it gets easier.
So you played so many postseason games. You won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. Is it tough now, or is it a sort of, obviously you want to keep playing, but what is your off season like? Because the games are still going on, and for the last 4, 5, 6 years, your name was so synonymous with the NFL playoffs. Like, so where's your head at now? Having to chill out early this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different, and it's something I personally don't want to get used to.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the playoffs the past 5 years, and finding yourself outside looking in, it's definitely disappointing. You play to win games, and for me, I feel, and you guys seen one that I know, like I'm just the ultimate competitor, and that's in anything. I mean, we can do, if there's a win or loss column, I'm competing as best as I can, and that's just kind of the mentality that I had, from being in Seattle and being with, certain guys in that locker room, and so, it's something, I mean, there's nothing obviously I can do about it now, so you kind of just try to be productive with the time that we do get off, with getting your body right, spending that family time, because like you said, we're busy throughout the season. We're at the facility pretty much the whole day, and you get the couple hours when you get home. So it's a good time to just relax and, refocus and spend the time with my family. I just had a daughter in June, so I'm
Cool.
able to spend more time with her. And so it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, because obviously you want to be in the playoffs, but when you have the time off, you try to maximize it.
When does your physical off season start? Like, when will you start sort of gearing up for the next season? Because listen, Jermaine Kearse, you're a high level athlete. I'm a no level athlete. So I'm infatuated by what you guys do. I'm so interested in what you guys do. It's like, where do you see like the next few months before you start going back into like hardcore training?
So usually I try to come up with a plan that's going to be suitable for both, making sure I'm still in shape and relaxed. And I think the biggest things, a big mistake that some guys can make is, you get into the off season and you just go so hard in the off season, then you get to OTAs and mini camp, then you get that little 6 weeks or 5 weeks off before camp, and then you go into camp. So you there's really no rest period. So I think it is vital to kind of have a rest period. I usually take, the first probably 4 weeks off to just kind of, get my body right and, relax a little bit. And then you kind of gear it up, in little phases. You do a little bit here and there, maybe twice a week. But usually for me, I really kind of get going towards the mid to late February, heading into March.
Mm-hmm.
I think it times out well because, when you condition, I mean, you can condition and get in the best shape of your life, and you take about a week off and then it's all gone. I mean, not compared, but, you just try to train. I try to train smart. And that's just kind of the philosophy I kind of go throughout the off season. And by the time March hits, I'm kind of getting back into it and building up into OTAs.
Got you. So what do you see? Just your opinion as a player. What do you see left in the NFL playoffs? Like, with the teams that are left. Like, and how much do you watch, or like how much are you even paying attention?
I've been paying attention a little bit more. I mean, this is my first time actually having the chance to watch other teams. So, but I've been paying attention. There's some teams I think that are definitely capable of making moves. I don't know who I like. I like Minnesota. I think they have a good road towards, or a good chance to get into the Super Bowl, because they're playing at home. They got a great defense. And then on the other side, I mean, you can't really go against Tom Brady sometimes.
All right, but I want to talk to you about the Jets, but you mentioned the Seattle Seahawks, the competitiveness in the locker room. There's so many personalities, and it was such an iconic crew, between Richard Sherman and Marshawn Lynch and Coach Carroll and Russell Wilson and Cam and the whole crew. And you're on the offensive side of it. What do you take away from your years with that group of guys competing in practice? Like the ups and downs, like the bonding. It just seems like an intense, but very positive, but competitive group of people. Tell me what it was like being a Seattle Seahawk during that. I guess, when you look back in time, it's an iconic crew, of guys.
Right. I mean, I think being in Seattle and being in that locker room with those guys kind of made me, the player that I am today. I mean, when I first got into the league in 2012, undrafted, I was on the practice squad for the first 8 or 9 weeks. And so I was going against Sherm, I was going against Earl and Cam and Brandon Browner, who was there at the time, and all those guys. And, I try to push myself as best as I could and try to push them. And, eventually I made enough plays during practice to have the confidence to activate me. But I think what's so great, about the time I had there was just how close we all were, but yet how competitive we were with each other on the field. I mean, when we were in the locker room or outside of the facility, whether we were hanging out, with our families and each other and whatnot, like we had such a close relationship, and I still have close relationship. I mean, those guys are like my brothers. I'm talking with like Doug and Sherm and Golden Tate and those guys. But when we stepped on the field, I mean, we was fighting each other. We was talking trash to each other. Like, you would think that we weren't friends.
You mean amongst the team?
Yeah, amongst the team on the field. I mean, it was that competitive, and it was, sometimes it crossed the line. Sometimes it was, hovering the borderline. But when we were out there on that field, we was competing to the fullest. And I think that's what kind of, what identified with the team. And that was kind of the core, the core motto is just either you're competing or you're not. There's no middle ground. There's no ifs. There's no woulda, shoulda, couldas, or anything. It's either you were doing it or you weren't. And that was kind of the mindset that all of us had going out on the field when it came down to practice.
Richard Sherman, he's such a voice. His play, listen, this is the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. I pride myself on being a fantastic trash talker. You sound low key. Richard Sherman, does he ever stop talking? What is he like in practice? What is he like, to have as a teammate?
I love Sherman. Sherman is one of my closest friends. He's one of my best friends, and he's a goofball in the locker. I mean, he's a nerd, and it's funny when he gets out on that field. He turns into just the ultimate competitor. I mean, if you get him going and you ruffle his feathers or something, and he can get going. And it got like that sometimes. I mean, I remember there was times where the receivers were getting in fights with the DBs, and it was a full-out brawl in the middle of camp. And, I mean, it happened twice, I want to say, my rookie year. It's just when we get out on the field, it's like a flick of a switch. Like, something just changes. And when we get into competitive mode, we get out there and we get after it.
Well, it was a great crew. I mean, and you made so many big catches in big games and big moments. You know, I mean, are you one of these people like? Because when I talk to athletes, some of them, pretty much most of them, especially coaches, like they'll be able to remember every practice, every play, every snap. Like, do you have that sort of like memory of all your big plays and all that stuff?
Yeah, of my big plays, yeah. A lot of catches I remember. I mean, some of the just basic, you know, whether it was a flat route or a bubble route or something, you know, you don't really, you know, care to remember. But the big plays that you make, and I know for me, after every game, I sit there. You can ask my wife this. I sit there. I have to watch the film, like literally right after, as soon as it gets put up, because I gotta. Things happen so fast. I gotta know what happened, and I gotta have some clarity before, so I can sleep at night. And so, but yeah, you remember those plays. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to make some pretty big plays, and it's just kind of the mindset of me trying to be very opportunistic, you know, with the opportunities that I did get in Seattle. And so I just try to be a playmaker in that sense.
In the 2013, the NFC Championship game, you guys, when you were with Seattle, because you're a Jet now, and I'm glad you're a Jet, you made the touchdown that put the Seahawks ahead, and you know the Michael Crabtree Richard Sherman game.
Right.
What is it about Michael Crabtree? Now, again, I am a big time shit talker. Do you talk a lot of shit, Jermaine? Because you seem low key.
I'm super low key, but if you during the game, if you talk shit to me, I'm gonna talk shit back to you, and you better not let me get gone.
Okay. I like that. Because I'm talking shit in my sleep. Like, you know, I talk shit when I wake up. But okay, so you're not a shit talking starter.
No, I'm willing to go wherever you willing to take it. So if you want to take it there, we can take it there. But if you want to just go out there and play ball, we can do that too.
What is it about Michael Crabtree? I fuck with Michael Crabtree. I love him as a player. Why does he drive defensive backs, safeties, and like, why is he always in the middle of shit? Like, what is your opinion? Like, what is your take on Michael Crabtree, just in terms of the Richard Sherman, the Aqib Talib? Is he starting the shit talking? What's his story?
You know what? I have no idea. I don't even know the whole reason behind the Sherman Crabtree deal, even if that's even still a deal. But then you see the stuff with Aqib Talib and whatnot. I mean, I think Crabtree's a hell of a receiver. I mean, I enjoy watching him play, and you know, I watched some of his tape out in Oakland. But as far as just what he must be doing, something to get under somebody's skin, because it's obviously working, and a lot of people or a lot of DBs seem to have a lot of problems with it.
So obviously now you're used to playing in Jersey. You know, you guys played the Super Bowl versus Denver. It was probably the worst weather for a Super Bowl ever. And unfortunately, New York probably will never get a Super Bowl again based on that. And I don't think they should. It
was actually not that bad that day, though.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you.
There was like perfect weather. The day after, that's when it kind of turned the other way. But the day of the Super Bowl, it was, you know, everybody was preparing for this like cold game and snow and whatnot, and ended up being like 56.
Okay, the Super Bowl versus New England, and I'm sure this gets brought up all the time. You make one of the craziest catches in playoff and, of course, Super Bowl history. It's bobbling. Even Al Michaels, like, he dropped the ball. He didn't know what the hell was going on. I'm sure you've heard the replay. Al Michaels thought you dropped the ball. You make the catch, and the rest is Super Bowl history. I'm sure it gets brought up all the time. I hate to do it. What is your takeaway of that game? You know, everybody was like, hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch, hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch, and of course the Malcolm Butler thing. Like, as the years go by, like, do you think about those moments?
Yeah, I mean, right. I think it would more so bother me more when I'm done playing, when I look back at it. But I mean, it's hard not to think about it. My initial thought, I mean, is, for me personally, I'm like, give it the ball to Marshawn. That's my personal thought. And that's what I thought we were going to do, because the previous play before, you know, we had a successful 4-yard run. He damn near almost scored on that play. And so in my mindset, I'm like, okay, let's give it back to him. And, you know, but as my job as a player, I don't make the calls. And we made that call, and The rest is history, unfortunately.
So when it comes up, is it like, like the play's coming from the sideline, Russell's getting the play, he's articulating it. Obviously, you can't foresee what's going to happen. Do you remember at all like a beat of thinking like, why are we doing this? Or in hindsight?
I feel like it did kind of feel like that way in the huddle. I mean, when you look at the film and we broke the huddle, we kind of lined up, kind of dysfunctional. We wasn't all in the right spots, and then we kind of, eventually got into the spot. So I feel like there was a little bit of that sense in the huddle of kind of like, like, huh? And so, but, it is what it is.
What do you do? Where do you keep your Super Bowl ring that you do have from beating Denver?
I keep it in a safe. I bring it out here and there. But it usually stays in a safe.
You're a New York Jet now. You grew up in Seattle, grew up in Washington. You played for Seattle. You know, obviously the Jets, in my opinion, listen, you guys superseded so many expectations, played with so much heart. I was so freaking proud of the Jets because, to be honest with you, I didn't know what to expect. With the McCowan, Christian Hackenberg, Bryce Petty. Like, as a fan, we didn't know what the hell was going to happen with the quarterback situation. Obviously, McCowan, he played all out, and then when the season ended and he had got injured, you saw his heart on his sleeve. What is your takeaway from the first season with the Jets? Because, like I said, you guys superseded so much. You, Robbie Anderson, Quincy, that's a good wide receiving core. You have the most experience. You're the number one guy. What is your takeaway from being a New York Jet season one?
I think there are some positives, and then, there's some things that we can definitely build on. I feel like, for me, I didn't hear all this expectation stuff of, going 0-16 because I spent my whole time in Seattle throughout camp. I didn't get traded until the first week of the season. So by the time I got there, my mindset was just, I got to go and, just try to be as productive as I can. But, as we went through the season, I feel like we do have a solid foundation. I think there's some things that we definitely, have to continue to do to build on that. I felt offensively, I thought Josh did great.
Really good.
I thought he did great. With coming in here, being able to work with him just straight from the go, no reps except for those first 3 days of practice, and going into the game and being able to be productive with him. I thought he did a phenomenal job, and, obviously there's all places where we can just try to get better. I think the biggest thing for us is, how consistent can we be?
Right.
And whether we could finish the game or not. I think, majority of the games we lost, minus, maybe 2 or 3, we lost by a touchdown or less. And that just comes down to just focus at the end. And then when we do win games, is can we be consistent enough to continue to win games, and not get too hyped up off of one win, knowing that, the next week anything can happen with any game. And that's just the NFL. It's hard to win in the NFL, and it's hard to be consistent in the NFL. So I think those are the biggest areas that we can kind of just focus on and improve on. And I think if we, are serious enough about it and really want to, I think we can definitely do it. And I think you'll see a lot better Jets team the following year.
What's the biggest difference in terms of the temperament? Todd Bowles is low key. Pete Carroll, outspoken. He's charismatic. He's like, 107 years old. He's like the world's most interesting man. He's always chewing gum. What's the difference in terms of their temperaments?
I enjoyed playing with both of them. And like you said, Pete had, the whole energy type, charismatic type personality.
Is he like 96? How old is Pete Carroll?
Man, I don't know, but all I know is when I get that age, I want to move around like him.
What does he do? Does he sleep?
You asking the same questions, I want to know the answers too, because if you see him around practice, it's like what is this dude on? He's running around, he's constantly throwing the football, and I think he plays quarterback during the defensive walkthroughs, I think on Fridays or Saturdays, and it's just like I definitely want to move around like him when I get that age. But with with Coach Bowles, he's definitely, the opposite of Pete, but I love playing for Coach Bowles. Once you kind of get to know him and you talk to him, I feel like what you see from like media interviews, and I mean, you see a little bit of his personality, but I don't think he's really showing his personality to the media. But once you get to talk to him, he's a shit talker too. And, we just, it's been a pleasurable time of just being out there and getting to know him and having him to get to know me and kind of build that relationship.
Well, I mean, it was a pleasure to have you as a Jet, and I'm looking forward to more. When you got traded and it's in the middle of camp, how does that work? Like, what are you hearing?
It was at the end of camp.
So it's at the end of camp. How does that work with you? Like, you're up there, you're a big part of the Seahawks. Like, did you hear that there was rumblings of this? Like, what do you know? What do you don't know about being traded?
Well, I mean, I heard a little bit of rumors, maybe about, the third week of camp, and I heard there's been some talks, and, I had a conversation with John Schneider and talked about it, and he told me not to believe the whispers, and, and then, things happen, shit happens, and the next week, we go through that week. I didn't play in the last preseason game. And so right after camp, I'm heading into the weekend, and, the weekend before week one, and then I get a phone call saying that I've been traded to the Jets. And so it was kind of like a surprise, but not a surprise because I knew about it. But then I thought I've had a conversation. And so I wasn't thinking about it. And then when it happened, it was like, oh shit, this really happened. But, it was a bittersweet move.
Right.
The relationships, the friends that I made in that locker room, but being able to, start a new chapter in my life and being able to get out of Seattle and be around something new, be out of my comfort zone, and be able to have the opportunity to showcase my ability and my skill outside of Seattle. I think it was very beneficial for me.
All right, well, listen, Jermaine, I'm going to let you go. Like I said, I'm so glad you're a New York Jet. You had a great season. I'm looking forward to the Jets and you kicking ass next year. Enjoy your break. Congratulations on the baby. And when you get back to New York, I would love to take you for a slice of good New York pizza and show you around in, the city from a New Yorker's point of view.
Yeah, for sure. Let's link up. I appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you coming on, man. Enjoy the off season. Don't get used to it because next year the Jets are going to be back.
Yeah, you damn right.
All right, Jermaine. Thank you so much, my man. Enjoy your break.
All right, thanks.
All right, I want to thank our guest, Jermaine Kearse. That was a dope interview. I'm going to see you in New York next training camp. Slices are on me. Guy got traded at the end of training camp last year. Couldn't even really enjoy being in New York City. Just went right to work and killed it last year for the Jets.
Yep.
They overachieved. Josh the helicopter McCown was the quarterback. Somehow, some way, they were very competitive. They got jerked that one game when Austin Seferian-Jenkins made that touchdown versus the New England Patriots. They were competitive all season. Jermaine Kearse, we're lucky to have him as a Jet. He's only 27 years old. So I don't know what people were talking about when they said he's washed up. 27? He
27.
Never stopped kicking ass. So thank you for rocking with me, Jermaine Kearse. I will see you in New York for a fantastic pizza tour. Before we move forward to the sick fucks of the week, the heavily talked about and ridiculed Colin Kaepernick. This guy is, been ridiculed. He's a villain. The villainized Colin Kaepernick.
Demonized.
Oh, he's such a bad guy. What a piece of crap.
Uh-huh.
Guy's been legitimately blackballed from the NFL. Colin Kaepernick should be playing Blake Bortles' backup this week. If I was the Jacksonville Jaguars and I was heading into the Patriots and I was sniffing a Super Bowl, I would want a backup quarterback like Colin Kaepernick. The vilified, demonized Colin Kaepernick just finished his final pledge of $1 million in donations. He donated $1 million. This is a guy who's been called everything under the book. This is a guy who Donald Trump went out of the way to publicly humiliate, saying, get off the field, you son of a bitch. Remember when that piece of shit said that?
Yes, I do.
$1 million he donated. He has no job now. He doesn't know where his next check is coming. He's a professional football player. He's 26, 27 years old. Maybe he's 28. We don't fact check. It's not the point. Can't get a job in the NFL. But this terrible, horrible, vicious, violent Colin Kaepernick just finished donating $1 million. Congratulations to him. I wish I could be that mindful, thoughtful, and generous someday.
Yeah. He did what he said he was going to do.
Let's get to some sick fucks of the week. Miles, please cue the sick fucks of the week. This award is earned, not given. It's called the sick fuck of the week. This guy's really sick. Lock him up. How could you do it? Don't let him out. Damn. You fucked the dog? You what? You fucked the dog? Why would you fuck the dog? Why would you fuck your girlfriend's dog? What sick fuck? The sick fuck of the week. It's earned. Earned. Not given. You did what? No. 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 Yes. Yes. See, I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast Sick Fuck of the Week Awards. This is an award that is earned, not given. Earned, not given. Elliot Spitzer.
Oh.
He's been the actual sick fuck of the week, I think maybe one, possibly two times in the past. He's one of the few people that has won the sick fuck of the week 2 times.
Yeah.
The other day, disgraced ex-governor, Elliot Spitzer, was arrested for allegedly threatening to stab a man in the dick. That's right. And it happened. Where did it happen, G. Monetti? Do you know where this happened?
Around your hood.
On the Upper East Side. Once again, the Upper East Side is a place where shit pops off.
They wilding up there.
A guy named James Antolini got into a little dispute with Elliot Spitzer. Elliot Spitzer threatened to stab the guy in the loaf. It's not acceptable, not cool. And if you're going to go so far to take things to stabbing somebody, and I don't suggest or hope anybody does that, why do you want to stab another man in the dick?
Yeah. Why is that the target?
Why do you want to do that? Elliot Spitzer, congratulations. You may be a 3-time sick fuck of the week winner. Remember we talked about swatting in Kansas? These are people that like call up the police department and they make up fake stories, and they're so sort of far out, and they're so sort of scary that the SWAT department will be called in, like a kidnapping, or somebody has a gun and they're kidnapping. Well, they call it swatting. These are the same assholes. These people that do swatting. These are the same fucking idiots that eat laundry detergent.
Yeah. No question about that.
Well, this guy who was accused and arrested for swatting he had a jail interview. Why do we want to talk to this sick fuck? I never intend for anyone to get shot and killed. Sorry, asshole. You're in prison. You're not getting out of prison for a long time. You're the sick fuck of the week. And I don't care that you never intended to do that. Stay off the laundry detergent, fuckhead.
And take this Wonder Bread bag.
So put that in your socks and hope for the best. This could be a sick fuck / her own shame game. Did you hear about the student from the University of Alabama?
Oh, yeah.
There's a student from the University of Alabama named Harley Barber. She's from Jersey. And she went on an Instagram or Twitter or some video, Snapchat, something, and pretty much ruined her life. Because in this day and age, you're not going to get away from it. She went on a 60-second rant about being in one of these Alpha Phi sororities. Why in this day and age do people want to be a part of these sororities or fraternities?
I don't know.
I want to give this a shout out to my man Avery Johnson Jr., whose father is Avery Johnson, the basketball player, former Mavericks coach, played for the Spurs. One of the best voices in all of sports history. He sent me this first. This animal, this sick fuck, Harley Barber, she went on a minute-long rant on Martin Luther King's birthday saying, I'm from Jersey, so I can say N as much as I want. N. I don't care if it's Martin Luther King Day. N. I'm in the South now, bitch, so everybody could fuck off. If anyone else wants to take a fucking snake on me, blah, 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 blah. You're a sick fuck.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if this is true. See, because this is that pile on shit. Because why wasn't anybody saying any of this when it was happening? So obviously he's been accused of sexual assault. Now he's been accused of racism on the set of House of Cards. Spacey allegedly used the N-word when he told his security manager that he didn't want black security personnel watching his show trailer. Very, very bizarre behavior. I don't know if it's true because now it's going to be, Kevin Spacey's everything. Same way like we were talking about Aziz Ansari and that. So I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
But if it's true, get your fucking mind right. Man was stabbed on the subway in Paris. This happened in Paris, France. A man was stabbed on the subway, which is terrible, sad, and frightening, while onlookers didn't help. They didn't scream. They didn't call for the police. They filmed it and put it on social media. Those people should be arrested. Those people are the sick fucks. The fact that you could sit there, I'm not saying you got to be a hero, to sit there and not react, to not scream, to not do something, but you have the patience and wherewithal to take your phone out and post it on social media, you sick animal. You sick animal. Brian Urlacher, former Chicago Bear Hall of Fame football player, badass. The mother of Brian Urlacher's son is suing the Bear star for $125 million that he conspired to paint the ex-wife or somebody for $120. This story is so confusing. The real story around Brian Urlacher is, how the fuck do you have hair, Duke? Like that's the story around Brian. Brian Urlacher ruined his career as a football analyst because no one could take him seriously. What does he have on his head?
Fucking mop.
He's got these little spawns of hair on his head. He had a bald head. He looked dope with the bald head. He was a badass. And then you wanted to get your whole shit plugged back in?
Yeah, you look fucked up, Duke.
Finally, the sick fuck of the week. A mom of 5. This is a mother of 5 children. Has married the ghost of a 300-year-old Haitian pirate. You need to take, this is an Irish woman, Amanda Teague. She's 45 years old. She thinks that she's married a pirate that is black but looks like Johnny Depp. This is a sick person. This is the mother of 5 children. She should not be able to be around children. And she says the sex is really good.
Oh. Yeah. Some ghost dick. Dang.
Yo, he's ghost dicking. All right, listen. We're come to the end. I want to give a word out to my man Tom Cruise.
Okay.
One of the Tom Cruise, one of the biggest movie stars in the world.
Right.
He's filming another Mission Impossible movie.
Right.
I think we might have mentioned this, but about a month and a half ago, he broke his ankle trying to jump across the building. You could look it up. Almost killed himself. Could have really hurt himself. Came back after his ankle was healed. first day back on the set and slipped and hurt himself again. Yo, you 55 years old, Duke. Get the stunt man in, Tom Cruise. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Those days are over, man. We know you could handle yourself. You already proved it. Cool out, man.
Before you wind up really fucking hurting yourself, Duke.
Yeah. Chill out, T.
T. Cruz, hold your head, man. You out here looking crazy, man. You broke your ankle. Now you slipped. I think you hurt the other ankle. Stop. You don't have anything more to prove, Duke.
I got one more tidbit. I thought you would mention this, but in the interest of overall fairness, I gotta say this.
Oh, fuck.
Apple unveiled plans on Wednesday that they would bring back the vast majority of the $252 billion in cash that it held abroad and said it would make a sizable investment in the U.S. 20,000 new jobs, domestic campus, and other spending. Apple is taking advantage of the new tax code that President Trump signed into law last month. Almost $500 billion pouring back into the U.S. economy from just one company due to the new tax code. So in the interest of fairness, this should lead the news, but it wasn't on the news.
Well, then how'd you find out about it, fucking genius?
New York Times, your newspaper. I thought you, as an American citizen and a fair guy, would be applauding this. You can end the show.
No, I'm not ending the show. All right. Yo, I want to thank our guest, Jermaine Kearse. Great interview. Thanks for rocking with me. Thanks for the insight. Thanks for the Richard Sherman stories. Yo, subscribe, rate, review. Tell a friend to tell a friend. To I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. The best in the business. Sorry, don't hate us because we're fantastic. We've been rocking off mic since 1982. Miles, Jordan, take us out of here with some funk.
Word up.